What's up, this is Chosen. We have got a big Raid Shadow Legends video for you in this one because we've got access to the test server to get you full context on the fusion coming up, all of the epics involved in that fusion, some quality of life changes coming to Raid, and all sorts of stuff going on in game to keep you in the loop on. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, let's get the full details here of Sigmund, because when we first initially grade these things and we get sent their kit and stuff, we can't see their base stats and their book cooldowns. So first of all, base stats for this guy. This guy is going to be a tank, support, sturdy, kind of just rock of a team. So he needs good toughness. The attack does not matter at all. This guy scales his damage with defense. So base HP of 20,600. Not high, but it's okay. I wish it would have been like 21, 22 or so, but it's not that low given the fact that he's got 1350 defense, which is pretty decent. That's about what I would have expected it to be. I would have expected his HP to be about 21,500, so the HP a tad low, but the defense is pretty decent. The speed is pretty par for the course at 97. He does get 60 for base resistance and accuracy, which is pretty solid. That's usually between like 30 and 70. So the 50 resistance is definitely solid, and at least he gets a little bit of accuracy. And then the moment of truth in seeing the books this guy takes and the cooldowns. So, okay, we've got 5 books on the A1. That's not a good start. 5 books on the A2. That's not a good start. That's 10. 2 is 12. Okay, 12 books. I'll take it. They've done events like Pixneal with 18 books. They did a fusion for Brackus, which was 16. So I will take 12. Ideally, they would keep the books between like 6 and 12. When you start getting over that, it becomes a massive burden for players to try to unlock the value these champions can bring to the table by getting them books. So, okay, how do the books actually affect the champion? So we're going to go to... we can get this to 100%. Okay, so, or wait, 50% of removing one buff. We can book that up to 75, but then we can book it up to 100% when it's on a boss. Okay, so books decently impactful there. And then the most important thing on the A2 and the A3 is going to be the cooldowns. So this one started at 4. We knew this one was going to book to 3. That's pretty par for the course. The A3 was the one that we really need to pay attention to. So here we go. The A3 does book to 3 turns. That was the biggest thing that we needed to know. I saw on the kit they sent us, the text version, I saw this ability, and I saw it started with a cooldown of 5. I did not know if it booked to 4 or booked to 3. And I said his grading would either go from like a B to an A- depending on that one thing. So hey, pretty solid. This books to 3, which is going to make him very good. It's almost a permanent AoE strengthen for your whole team, and then we're also going to get a pretty big shield because it bases off his HP, and it's 30%, which is definitely solid. So this is a very nice rotation of abilities. Whenever you have a champion that's got 2 abilities and they're both on a 3-turn cooldown, we've got a very nice rotation to get a good flow with the character between the A1, the A2, the A3, resetting, A3, A2, A1. We can get a nice rotation with the character, given the fact both of these book to 3. So, okay, that is all in all pretty good news. The base stats, not as quite as good as I was hoping, but the cooldowns and the rotation are super good. So I'm excited to dive in. I'll probably be streaming after this, and we'll go ahead and test this guy live with you guys, interacting with you, answering questions, and showcasing the things that you want to see. But I do think this is going to be a fusion worth going for sure. And then we also get the official post coming from Plarium here online to go over the update highlights for 4.70. Says ironing out the final creases, ready to share some of the details, quality of life improvements, champion rebalance, okay. Boss guides, first of all, we're introducing a neat little feature that will help you, whether you are a green newbie or a grizzled veteran, to learn more about the various raid bosses and how to beat them, every dungeon, a boss, okay. Clamor and feature a pop-up that contains a full description of the boss's skills and overall strategy you need to deal with them. the pop-up menu will be accessible via a special button in the battle selection screen. That's a good addition. They really need a way for players to kind of see that stuff instead of having to like go to the boss fight, turn off auto, and like click through all the skills. They really need little pop-up cards like that during the battle screen, and just kind of streamline that a little bit. So that will be a good addition for sure. Then it goes on to say, if that alone isn't enough, the second tab will feature a list of teams of the week. As the name suggests, were the most successful in dealing with that particular boss. With this feature, you'll be able to plan and adjust your teams before entering battle. That is something that's kind of cool. I wish you could like pull up the index, or maybe like click on a champion and see the percentage of time they're used in certain areas of the game. Like you could pull up Coldheart and see that she's in 38% of Fire Knight teams, and she's in 31% of Spider teams, you know, things like that. You could pull up Duchess and see that like based off of if players have her, if they use her there. Something like that would be super cool. It's probably hard to pull off, but if they were able to add that to the game, it would really bring a lot of life and context to the index and the champion pool. But then it goes on to talk about the champion rebalance. We have already touched on this yesterday with a dedicated video. I can give you the consensus of now that we have a little bit of context and reaction from the community. The main talking points from this champion rebalance, if you didn't watch the dedicated video on it, is that the the Tila changes are kind of meh, Robar meh. The big takeaways are Pixneal is going to be a little bit more reliable, but the community is kind of disappointed in the fact that she didn't get a little bit more, or at least that's what it seems like right now. But people are excited about Tomb Lord. Tomb Lord was already pretty decent, and now he's going to be a lot better. So people are excited about Tomb Lord for sure. The other thing that is standing out to people is obviously Uragrim. People are very upset about this. You can see it over there on the bottom, because there is no mechanic in Raid to get your resources back. Like, you can't get the books back that you spent on a champion after they're nerfed. There's no period of time where you can assess if you want to keep those books invested in a champion that was nerfed or not. So yeah, people understandably so get very upset when champions they have built get nerfed, and I totally understand that. So I would say the community, I actually did a poll on this. I can pull it up. Yeah, that'll be a lot easier to just pull it up while I'm talking about it. So yeah, we got almost 3,000 votes on this on the YouTube community tab poll to get the sentiment of how the community feels about Uragrim, and it looks like 42% saying the nerf was too harsh, and then 33% of the community saying, you know, he's still good. People are probably overreacting a little bit, and he was such a good epic that he probably did need a little bit of balancing. That's about 1 out of every 3 people, and then 1 out of every 4 people says they shouldn't have changed him at all. So looks like about 75-77% of people are not on board with the changes to Uragrim, and then probably a large chunk of people who did not have him and have not invested in him are probably in that 33% saying, come on, he's still good, people are overreacting. But yeah, anyway, that was the hot takeaways here on the balance changes. Then we get miscellaneous artifact and accessory storage will receive that's a welcomed change. Look at this. Artifact and accessory storages will receive an additional 300 slots each. How'd they just slide that in there? That's a big deal. So right now we're currently at 1,000 for artifacts and accessories. That means we're getting 600 slots. We're gonna get to 1,300 on artifacts and 1,300 on accessories, if I'm reading this properly. That's a nice little surprise to wake up to. We're just gonna slide that in as a random note. That's huge. I know people are always like I know me personally, doing account takeovers and different account services for people and stuff. Artifact cleanup and artifact management for people ends up being a massive chunk of what I do. So I know lots of you are always struggling and being very close to the cap, just based off of how often I'm doing services like that for people on stream and stuff, and doing cleanup. So okay, that's great that we're getting a lot more storage on our accounts. That's a pretty big deal. That's a 30% bump on both. So yeah, going from 1,000 to 1,300 is definitely a welcomed addition. But then it starts listing the champions. We already went over Sigmund. He's looking very promising and has a good rotation here, given the fact that we can get both skills to a 3-turn cooldown. I like that. So now we got to go over the epics. These are the epics that are going to be in the fusion for Sigmund. So first we've got Dur the Hungerer. We're gonna do one enemy. We can book this to a 40% chance of placing a stun. CCA1 is pretty good. We've got reflect damage. We can book it to a 3-turn cooldown. All allies, could be like a Fire Knight type thing, and heal on all allies for 1 turn, and also heal them by their you know, decent support ability here. Lots of heals, continuous heal and instant heals, along with reflect damage, and then he's also going to revive. So this is going to be a really good addition for faction wars, where you need the 3-star content and you need a reviver and some heals and some support. Also a big defense aura for faction crypts, and the other one, the revive, books to a 4-turn cooldown, which isn't too bad. So okay, definitely an above average epic here, and definitely a good one for faction wars. Then we've got Thylesia, which is going to be attack 1 enemy, 50% chance of applying a debuff spread, taking 1 random debuff from the target and placing it on everybody who has a hex. So we're slowly getting more and more champions that are trying to work with the hex mechanic in the game. Attack all enemies, 3-turn cooldown, increased duration of all debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn. That's really good. Buff extension and debuff extension is a rare role in the game, so that's definitely a really good 3-turn cooldown AoE. I like that. We've also got another AoE, which is going to decrease defense for 2 turns, and then we can almost keep it up permanently. If she does the A3 first, then she comes around the next turn and extends the duration of the defense break, and then kind of by the time she resets the cooldown on her defense break, boom, we can have permanent defense break here coming from Thylesia, and that's a pretty big deal in faction wars. Knight Revenant have a massive problem dealing with the triple Valkyrie wave, so lowering their defense is definitely a welcome change for sure. And then if you place like a block buffs on them or something, she's going to increase the duration of that debuff and block buffs basically permanently, so they can't place all those counterattacks and stuff. So okay, I like the design so far here. When attacking enemies under a decreased defense, which is going to be basically always, 50% chance of placing a hex on them as well. Okay, very cool. I like Thylesia. Moving on to Splinter. Sorry, Scabria. Sorry, I misread that for a second. The A1 is going to be a 50% chance of placing a poison. Okay, very good early to mid game clan boss ability there on the A1. Then we've got an AoE we can book to a 3-turn cooldown. AoE Leech. That is rare. I think Tila Gormain does that, but AoE Leech is not very common. Then we got attack 1 enemy. We can place a weaken. Also place a increased attack on this champion for 2 turns if the weaken is placed. That's a 4-turn cooldown. That better hit pretty hard if it's a single target 4-turn cooldown. And he is an attack champion, so hopefully he has good multipliers and hits pretty hard. Damage increases by 20% when attacking, under a poison. So that could do some decent damage against bosses and stuff, hopefully, if you couple that with the 20% increase on damage, as long as his multipliers are decent. But okay, too early to tell on him for sure. Then the last epic here is Demitha. This is the Void. We've got a new Void epic coming for the dwarves. So there's usually a Void epic as part of a fusion, and then 3 affinity ones. So this is going to be the important one to look at. We've got A1, attack 1 enemy 2 times, place a shield for 2 turns equal to 10% of this champion's max HP. So looks like going to be scaling with HP, hopefully. We can't see the base stats, but it will target to the ally with the lowest HP, which is good. Increased duration of all buffs by 1 turn and decreased duration of all ally debuffs by 1 turn. That's really good. I like that. We can book it to a 3-turn cooldown. We're also going to get some heals, 2.5% and a further 2.5 for each turn added or removed. So it could be a pretty decent heal there as well. Yeah, booked to a 3-turn cooldown. Lots of potential there for some cool things. I do like that. Then we got place block damage on all allies for a turn, and a 15% continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns. So we're going to block damage, and we're going to get some good heals on a 3-turn cooldown, and then defense on all battles by 20%. Yeah, lots of potential to mitigate damage, to heal, to be a good support, to place shield on the targeted person where it needs to go. And then we're also going to increase buffs and increase the duration of the debuffs going on. So yeah, it's definitely a solid A2 there for me. I love buff manipulation, stripping buffs, messing with the durations, like improving your teams, improving debuffs on theirs. Like any sort of buff manipulation is always extremely good in Raid. And with that A2, you're getting both sides of it. You're going to increase the duration of your buffs, and you're also going to decrease the duration of debuffs that are on your team. Sorry if I worded that wrong a little bit when I was talking about it first, but that's the important thing to know is you're getting both sides of that. You're increasing the buffs, and you're decreasing how long debuffs are going to be on your team. So yeah, pretty well designed for sure. There's going to be lots of fun potential to kind of build some compositions around that for the dwarves, and it will make the dwarf faction stronger for sure. So, okay, what do I think all in all? I think all in all, it's good news today about the fusion and some of these champs coming to the game. The champion rebalance part of it is definitely on the underwhelming side of things. If we're only going to get rebalanced twice a year, it's got to be a lot more extensive than this. If we've got 600 champions in raid, there's no epics being buffed here. We've got like 200 something trash can epics that we could at least buff up a few of them to provide some more options for players. So if balance changes are going to be this rare, it is unfortunate to see it be this kind of minor. And then there's nothing in here that really affects the PvP meta. There's nothing that's really going to shake things up or provide a lot more options. It's just kind of some random things being like multiplier increases, and maybe this champion hits a little bit harder and stuff. Basilius Rowanus got a big buff, and Tomb Lord got a big buff. War Mother, I think, is going to be a lot better now. So yeah, there's some fun things in there. Pixney will be a little bit more reliable, but definitely disappointing. Now, if balance changes were once a month, this would be fine. Like if this was a monthly thing, then this would be okay. We would be eating like 5-10 champions changing per month, and we would constantly kind of keep things fresh. But if this is going to be once every 7 or 8 months, this is very underwhelming in my opinion for the balance changes. But the quality of life stuff is definitely going to be cool with the pop-ups, the information pop-ups for players. That's going to be a great thing, and I obviously love the storage space. We can never have enough champion space, storage space, stuff like that. So that is definitely good, and the fusion is looking fun as well with the rotation of the cooldowns and stuff. So I do recommend going for the fusion, and overall, this patch should be a good addition to the game. But okay, time to get off the test server. We are back on the main account, and we are going to be this weekend. We did get official word this morning that 2x Ancient Shards is going to be launching this weekend. We kind of thought that was going to be happening based on the normal rotation of events, but that is confirmed officially. We will be getting 2x Ancients this weekend. There is also the 2-for-1. If you've missed out on the Sacreds, you've got today to get after that to get your 1 bonus legendary. As long as you're able to summon at least 1 legendary with the normal rates of Sacred Shards, you will get a bonus legendary 1 time. And obviously, I'm sure, as you know, don't miss out on your guaranteed cold art. If you have the 7 void shards available and you do not have cold art yet on your account, definitely important to keep an eye on that. Then we are also going to be getting a dragon tournament launching tomorrow. It doesn't look like it's going to be part of the fusion, but it's going to be for dark elves only, using champions. So who's going to be the best here for the dragon? They've got decent legendaries for the dragon. Some pretty good support ones. Zavia, obviously a huge damage dealer for Dragon 20 runs. And then for the epics, Caden a reviver. Saris is a defense break, attack break. Sylar is good for waves. Okay. And then decent. Kale is obviously one of the best rares in the game for the dragon. Painkeeper, a decent rare. Cold Heart. The only thing to keep in mind about Cold Heart is the turn meter. Stealing the turn meter won't work on the dragon. You can't use the Heartseeker to lower the turn meter. But Dark Elves, yeah, all in all, they're an alright faction for the dragon. So I'll have to try to put together a team once I see if the rewards are worth it on going for that. I can't see the rewards yet to let you know about that. But then under the events tab, we've got the fusion warm-up. Make sure you're upgrading artifacts to get your daily limit and scoop up the rest of your rewards here to warm up for the fusion launching soon. And then champion training is going to be ending if you want to focus. That's a lot of points for 1 legendary book, and given the fact that we've got the fusion starting, almost worth just kind of skipping that for now. It's just so many points, but I don't see anything like super noteworthy there. We're kind of just waiting for the fusion events to launch. Then for the offers, well, let's see if we got anything. Remember, we got 2x Ancients coming up this weekend, so that's worth noting. And then energy, maybe a premium with all the events coming up for the fusion and stuff. This one's worth plugging in. It's a 3 input price 100. We've got 500k. Energy, no, 12 epic tomes. No, not like that. There we go. There we go. And then 15 of the superiors. And we're gonna go 25 void shards, 2.02. So, this is a good offer for whales, like people at the super high spending tier of raid. For people that are more towards the lower or middle spending tiers, that's a lot to spend for a 2.02. So probably not a recommend from me there. Okay, and then the moral set for $40. Okay, yeah, that's not gonna work. So all right, unfortunately, nothing super good that I'm seeing here from the shop today. Also, remember, you've only got a couple days left, 3 days on the Doom Tower. So make sure, as a reminder, you're focusing on those secret rooms and getting progressed as far as you can in the Doom Tower, because we are about to reset to another rotation of a different Doom Tower than the one we currently have. So get those progression rooms done. And yeah, lots going on right now. I'm gonna head on over to stream, and I will be testing the Fusion Champion live with you guys, hanging out, answering questions, and showcasing what you want to see. So if you want to come stop by and say hi while we're testing on the test server, you are welcome to do so. The link is down below. It will indicate if I am live currently or not in the pinned comment. Other than that, as always, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.